So we wanted to bring it in-house. We hired a guy to come in, help us determine what that was. What came out of that is we were going to have two teams. We were going to have a centralized team that focused on using the higher tech equipment. We do online motor testing, we do offline motor testing, we do vibration analysis, we do ultrasonic evaluation for bearings, we do IR thermography for mechanical and electrical, and we also do wear particle analysis with oil sampling. So these guys are focused on going out, taking the test, analyzing the results, correlating that data between the technologies. Because like on a motor, UE is going to pick up that failure as it occurs, then vibration, so we can correlate it across the different technologies. And that's where TANGO really helps us. TANGO puts all those tests on that asset. Maximo, we have not found a way, we use Maximo 7.5, and we have not found a way for them to be able to correlate the data from one technology to the other. TANGO allows us to correlate that data from vibration to UE or offline, online motor testing. And then the centralized team will go out and take a reading, and they'll come back, and if they do it, they will put a condition assessment into TANGO. And what really nice is we've been able to integrate Maximo and TANGO so that when we put it in TANGO, it automatically generates us a work order in Maximo, which then goes to our planning department for them to plan it to get onto the schedule. Once it's done, that's where the decentralized portion comes in. That's our outlying plants, our other maintenance crews. Once it's done being fixed and repaired, they can put it online. They don't have to wait for us to do a baseline test. They'll let us know that they're done. Then they'll do like a vibration pen or a grease caddy and to make sure that the problem's been fixed. Then they can put it right back online. And the benefits are life cycle cost, downtime, and usable life.
So you say most of the work is done internally. The analysis, let's say you have your oil analysis. Is it the lab work? Is it done by your team or is contracted out? And
we send out the lab work to Insight Services.
Insight?
Yes, up in Toledo, Ohio. Good thing about that is we send it to Insight because they're connected. We have a 24-hour turnaround on our oil samples. And within 24 hours, they have the results for us already in TANGO on the asset. We don't get any emails. We don't get any paper copies. It goes straight to TANGO, and it's electronic, and we can look at it on our phone anywhere we're at.
How about vibration analysis?
We do all that in-house. We have two of our technicians are vibration 2A certified, so they can take the readings and make the calls as to what is actually an issue.
Okay, which tool do you use to collect data to see your graph?
Vibration?
Yes.
We use the CSI 2130.
Okay, and is it connected to TANGO, or you have to take screenshots and manually enter it in TANGO?
I think we take screenshots and save it onto TANGO. I'm the supervisor. I started. My technician he's my one technician that is so good that when he does something, he teaches me every time.
Did you upgrade to Windows 10 on your Emerson Machinery Health?
No, we're still on the old. I work just like you guys. I work for a government utility, and they don't want us. They've cut my budget so much, and I have to upgrade next year. We have not upgraded yet, but I have to next year. Okay. So that's in my budget for this year.
We have an old 2130 and we have a 2140, and they're saying once we upgrade, we can't use our 2130 anymore.
Yeah, we're getting ready to drop down like $60,000 because of the upgrades that we needed. They're stopping. They're not going to support the 2130 anymore.
Yeah. What level certification is your vibration guys?
They're 2A. We use IVC up in Lebanon, Ohio. Ken Starry, I don't know if you've heard of his name, but he does all our training for us. He does our online, offline, does our vibration, thermography. Every one of our guys is certified. They actually, because they just got reclassified as predictive maintenance technicians, they have to maintain 2 active certifications with vibration 1A being the minimum they can do to stay in their position.
Okay. IVC?
Yeah, IVC. They're in Lebanon, Ohio. Ken Starries is the guy's name. They're very good. They actually, I've never known a company to teach themselves out of a job. They were the ones that we contracted everything out to at the beginning. And when we told them, hey, we want to centralize this, they came up with a shadowing program that over a 1-year time frame, they worked themselves out of a job. We brought it all in-house, but now we still use them for training. And then we also have a little contract with them that if I lose one of my vibration guys for so long, they can actually come in and pick up right where we're at.
That's awesome. I just lost my vibration guy. So that was near and dear to my heart right now.
If you get a hold of Ken Starry, see if he'll sell you some of their extra vibration sensors for the 2130. They won't sell them to us, and they won't sell them to anybody. They're a specialized sensor, but they're the best sensor we've ever used. If you see this, between 2012 when we started the program and 2013, we avoided over almost $700,000. That number is actually gone up significantly. What we do is like, you go out on a vibration test, you determine the bearings bed. What we do is we look at a past failure to determine how much we actually spent once it failed to repair it, as opposed to the vibration guy proactively fixing it. And we actually I have a find of the week later on, I'll show you, but we document how much cost we've avoided. So that helps us show the return on investment of our program. So.
How many pieces of equipment do you do vibration on?
I will answer that when I get to, I can show you in the software. Let me see if I can get out of this. So if I go into the asset health report right here, so we're doing 887 different components for vibration.
So that's 529 machines, but 887 components. So the components, one would be a pump and one would be a motor, but not point, right? Okay.
Yeah, and this will, like, the green means it's healthy. The yellow means we should be looking at it, monitoring it more closely. The red means we have a condition assessment in TANGO because it was in a failed state. And this is looking at the last time we went out and took the equipment, that was the health of the asset. So it might be that we've actually gone to these centrifuges and repaired the front drive already. However, we have not gone back out to do a baseline or another assessment yet. So, and once a month, I will take this, I'll break it down by plant, and I will send it out to the supervisors and the plant managers so they know what the health of their equipment is. So, but that's one of the things we look at on TANGO. Another thing, the Icsr report, this tells us all the assessments we have in right now, how many of them are high level, how many of them are medium, how many of them are monitoring. And then it comes down here, it'll tell us what plant, and then my important thing is this number right here, the days awaiting checkoff. My goal is to keep everything below 90 days. And every night, if anything's over 90 days, I report out to my superintendent once a month, and then she has to go out. She goes out to the plants and it says, why haven't these been addressed?
So who does the checkoff? Is it your team or is the maintenance team?
I do the checkoff. What I do is I come in here once a week. I look at this latest status, which is automatically imported from Maximo. Okay. And if I see closed or complete, I'll open it up, and then I'll make sure the failure reporting's in there, and then I'll check it off. You see, if it's still in a checked off status, once a week, my team goes out and they look in a checked off box, and that's their post-maintenance testing route. So if they see something that's checked off, they go out and have to post-maintenance check it and do another assessment to verify that the repair worked and to get a new baseline reading.
Hey, Eric, are you doing the checkoff or is Maximo doing the checkoff?
We can do it that way. I turned it off because being a supervisor over it, I like to see how things are going, and so I can manage it. Maybe it's just a little bit of my control. I like to make sure that they're getting checked off and then post-maintenance tested in a proper time frame.
I think for the ultrasonic lubrication, What do you use for it?
Currently, we use UE 10,000s to take the readings. I have two UE 15,000s ordered, and they should be here anytime. And then once they write up a condition assessment and it's repaired, the actual crew will take out a grease caddy with them while they're doing the work, so that we don't over or under grease the bearing.
So when they do grease equipment, does the readings reported to TANGO, or they just do condition assessment and just close it on?
We do record the readings in TANGO.
To TANGO. Okay. And
yes.
You mentioned condition assessment for the UE. So it's not a work order that comes from Maximo. You have your condition assessment route stuff set up in TANGO, or how do you do it?
We have every route set up in TANGO. So TANGO, our hierarchy in TANGO mirrors our hierarchy in Maximo. So anything that is in Maximo is in TANGO. Any assets, even if we don't do condition assessments on them.
So your condition assessment is not set up in Maximo.
The only thing we use Maximo for is their timekeeping and writing follow-up work orders. Everything else to us in Maximo at a high level.
You say you do it in Maximo. If you don't have the work order in Maximo, how do you do it in Maximo?
We do routes in Maximo, like this one up here, this one for Doug. Right. In Maximo, there'll be a quarterly route-based PM with that same title, and it'll have all the assets that we're doing. We only use that for timekeeping.
You say you have a PM that's scheduled to generate work orders, or?
Yes, if we have a failed piece of equipment on this vibration, Doug will put his assessment into Maximo or into TANGO, and it'll automatically do everything in Maximo for us and put it in right into the planner's bucket.
Sorry, I'm not sure if I understand. You have a route that comes out in Maximo and a route that comes out in TANGO?
Correct. TANGO spits out their assignments. Our routes are based. Once TANGO tells us that this vibration route's due, we go into Maximo and we've aligned the start dates in TANGO and Maximo so that whenever one TANGO, it's automatically going to generate in Maximo. The only thing that work order that we use for in Maximo is for them to put down 8 hours of time or 7 hours of condition assessments. Our CRIS system here sucks the information out of Maximo for our timesheets. So the only reason we use Maximo is because our timesheets for the routes. That's they have to put something on their time on, and that's how we're doing it. And since they can put it in Maximo, there's a route, we can put that time on each asset, which then helps us roll up the cost per asset. But TANGO is what dictates to us what equipment we're going to do condition assessments on.
Okay, and you say the dates, the actual dates will have to match from Maximo, or the scheduled dates in Maximo will be the what you put in TANGO, right?
Correct. We went through about 3 years ago and aligned all those dates so that they generate and start at the same time.
Oh, so once you line it up, it should always happen at the same time. Let's say you want to modify a PM, right? You modify PM or you change the frequency or anything like that. If you change the frequency, that means you have to change it both places, TANGO and Max.
Correct.
Okay.
And oil analysis is even worse because then you got to change it in TANGO, Maximo, and on the Insight website. We just got done doing our audit on our oil program, so.
So let's say, do you have any run-hour frequency, or most of your PMs are on time frequency?
They're all time frequencies, quarterly, annuals. We are trying to do wireless remote sensors. We're piloting on our centrifuges right now. Because my goal within 5 years is to have the equipment tell us when it needs us to come out, not a time base like this.
Okay, because if it's a 1 hour base, there will be a problem with setting it up to line up the TANGO frequency and the maximum frequency?
I have 4 technicians, and I told each of them, I gave them my directive, and I said, this is what I want. And each one of them went through over a 6-month period, and they didn't do any extra time. They just, when they went in for each time it generated, they went in and verified that the start dates, and if they didn't, they made them match.
Coming back on the ultrasound thing, I don't know if you answered that, but you said the data was recorded in TANGO. That was a manual entry also, or is
it's a manual entry. Now, you were talking, let me get back to the ICSR report. If I go down here to this sludge dewatering, yeah, here it is. So it'll show you the recommendations. You can see my guy's a little sarcastic about it, what he puts in. But the bearing, he needs to make the priority 4 to change it. And you can see everything that's done, and he will actually put in his linked document of what the vibration, how he found it, and what he did. And then he started actually putting notes into the pictures. And this will stay with this piece of equipment forever, so that maybe in a month or so, if he has this, or a year, he starts having that failure again, we can start looking at what's causing us to have repeat failures on that.
So what happens when you swap equipment? Let's say you move it from one location to the other. Let's say you change the motor. And do you do anything in TANGO?
We move it from one location to the other, but it keeps the same asset, because all this stuff is kept on the asset. So if you move the asset from centrifuge 1 to centrifuge 2, you move the asset just like rotating equipment. You move it over to where it's currently at, and move it so that cost will roll up to that functional location as well. And if it goes into the storeroom, we've got a different location just for rotating assets that go out for repair or in the storeroom.
Okay.
So back to this, so see if there's anything on here. And you can see, like, every time we start adding new entry or new pieces of equipment, we get this spike because we haven't looked at the equipment, and then we start to repair it. It comes down over time. And like I was telling you, this is the find of the week we do. It'll tell us how we found it, who repaired it, and then what the actual cost was, and then how much we actually avoided right here on that repair. And we started doing this because, let's face it, a lot of people right here, a lot of people, maintenance is the redheaded stepchild. They never do anything positive. So we try and highlight the positives, what the PDM team's doing, just to get out what we're doing. It's one of the positive things. We've done a bunch on this, so everything that we've done is a positive thing. And with TANGO, if TANGO hasn't done something I wanted, I've been able to call Forest, and they've been able to. I ask them some pretty bizarre things, and they've been able to do everything I've done. So I've asked so far.
I hear that a lot from TANGO clients, is that, the SAP or Maximo is owned by IT, and you don't get changes, you don't get things done for you, whereas TANGO is owned by the reliability guys, and, if they need something done, we can do it for them pretty quickly.
Once a month, I report out on KPIs. I do route adherence. Instead of schedule success, like a normal, we do route adherence. Say we have 1,000 assets or assessments that are due in April. I want to know how much I got done. And I want to do the IR, the thermography, how many assignments there were, how many items per task, and then assess not measured. And then I can come down here and give a total route adherence, or I can export it. Our goal is 80%. We're doing bad because I just had one of my 10-year employees retire, so I'm down to 3 people when I should have 5, but no excuse. But I can break this down and export it and do it by technology, by whatever, and this will tell me how many they didn't get to, and then I can also go into another one and it'll ask them why they didn't get it. Operators wouldn't give it to you, skip due to lack of time, the equipment wasn't running, things like that.
Can you scroll up on this screen real quick? I want to see what's the title on top.
So
Okay,
assignments.
What's the
And it'll
percent route that how much was completed for that?
This 32? Yeah, so my IR guy had 32 different assessments to take on that one route, and he got to all 32 of them.
Okay.
And so his route adherence is 100%.
So
And
I'm sure being a wastewater plant, you probably have the same problem we do where there's a lot of spare and redundant equipment that's not running. How do you guys
correct.
coordinate with operations to get everything running? And like our guys spend a lot of, like if we have 4 pumps and only one needs to run, we spend a lot of time waiting for the next pump to warm up. How do you address that?
So when we had IBC in here doing our testing, they would come in and do an initial pass of whatever they could get. Then they would send us a list of what they didn't get. Operations would try and turn those on, and they do a second pass. And if they didn't get the second pass, that was it. They didn't get it. When we brought it in-house, I give my guys 90 days from the start date to when it's completed. I give them 90 days. They'll go out, they'll do a first pass, and then they'll do the same thing. They'll call operations and try it again. And then the third time, operations has actually really gotten on board with some of the finds we've done. So we'll talk to the operators on Friday and say, hey, next week we need Little Miami plant. We need these pieces of equipment running. Can you please have them running on Tuesday? And we have a scheduling meeting on Tuesday or on Friday for the following week so that everybody knows what equipment needs rotated. So we're actually, we use a communications with operations during our scheduling meeting. And then on Monday morning, we'll all hit one of the plants. We got 7 treatment plants. So we'll hit one of the treatment plants the day before each one and make them aware of like, hey, we agreed to this last Friday, please have them available. So, but there are some times we don't get it. And like right now with our wet weather, we're hitting everything right now because everything.
Yeah.
But we have some that we don't, and I think I lied to you a little. You asked if everything was quarterly the frequencies. We do have some that we put in seasonally, and the only time that we get those is when my guys see them running, because like our dry weather pumps or our barrier dam that normally doesn't, it came on this year, but it hasn't been on for 5 years. So when we saw that came on, we brought those PMs and activated them, and then we went out and took the assessments. We do have some that don't run very often.
How do you do assignments? If your primary assignment is through TANGO, what does the assignment look like? How do they know what work they're going to do that week?
They come in here I hit the wrong one again. I've got 4 monitors, and I'm monitoring the plant. I'm working on PM optimization on another screen. So here's how, so they can come into here and you can click on it and it'll arrange it. So now this one, it was started in November. Like I said, I give them 90, this one's overdue by February, but my guy's he's the guy that retired. So I'm still cleaning up from him, but it'll come out in April, and then it'll tell you when it's due in May. And this is what their assignments are. Anything that is currently in, I give them, I don't want to say they're a self-directed work group because that's a bad word around here, but I tell them it's the first part of the month, you need to hit Little Miami, and they'll go out there as a group of 5 and they'll swarm all over that one plant at one time. And this is where I know what they're doing, is because it tells us based on the task name, it's Mill Creek, and it's the RAS process or influent pumping at Little Miami. That's how they get their assignments, is through TANGO in this right here. And you can see over here, they can actually access it via their smartphones out in the field, their assignments and TANGO, and they can put anything they can do here, they can do on their mobile device.
Is the mobile function, does it look the same as this? And is it through TANGO or another mobile provider?
if you guys give your guys Verizon's phones and they have access to the internet, they can get on TANGO. It's like a website. It's web-based. Yeah.
Typically, you'll use tablets or smartphones, and this will let you do like your infrared as a route in a smartphone rather than having to come back to the computer to enter it.
Do you guys have job plans for each of these in Maximo and or in TANGO, or they just have a standard procedure?
So my vibration guy came up with his how to do a vibration test, and that's our standard job plan for vibration. The only one that's really different that we just started about 6 months ago is our online motor testing. Since you have to actually, not everything we do has motor testing ports. We have to open the cabinet, so we actually have to have the barriers and anything that with the energy control program, lockout, tag out, and arc flash. So all that stuff we have specialized for online motor testing. All the other stuff, they don't break into the equipment, so it's a standard on how to do a test.
Is it an attachment in Maximo, or is it just an SOP that they have in their shop?
It's an attachment in Maximo. They do have the SOP printed out, but they've been doing this for 5 years, so they're carrying it with them. But I don't think it's in Maximo if they need it.
Okay.
TANGO there's so much other stuff in here that I probably haven't touched a quarter of what I need to.
Okay. For infrared thermography, how do you report that in TANGO? You just take screenshots and also save it in TANGO, or?
We download the data. Let me see if I can. Let me go back there and see. I know we have one for IR. Let me see. Picking on IR case. So this high one. So he puts a PDF in there. For IR, we actually do this on the side. We will do the min, max, the areas, and show the difference so that when he writes the work order, he attaches this to Maximo, and the technicians out in the field can print this out and see what he's seeing with the high spot. And this one's he just wrote it, and he'll actually take it and point all this, and he'll tell us the guys what to do. So this is screenshot, or actually just attached with a PDF, not screenshotted.
So pretty much the technician would this report.
Yeah, the technicians would enter it manually in the TANGO.
Well, one thing, yeah, they do write this report, right, before they attach it.
Yes, they write this report. Let me see if I can find something. Just while if you got a minute. So we'll do primary settling. I'm probably just airing our bad. So I was telling you this is automatically entered by Insight, our oil analysis company. When we take a sample, we send it to them, they analyze it, it automatically gets put into TANGO. And it's got a complete history of all the samples we've taken. But yeah, it'll tell you when the sample was taken, when they received it, when it was completed, the ID, and then here's where we map it to TANGO and we save all that data from TANGO. And then it gives you what their recommendations are, and then it combines. So this is really nice because then you can go to the oilography portion of it, which I don't know if TANGO showed you that or not. But oilography lets us go in here and actually assess all the oil samples and analyze them. So we got, here's the ones we just did. Tells us how many sample points we're doing. Do that. See, these are out. I don't know, you guys have clarifiers, the bull gears and the clarifiers. We can't keep water out of them.
Oh, we can't keep water out of ours either.
We're actually thinking about, instead of sampling them, because it's costing us I don't know, $30 a quarter. We're just thinking about going out there once a month, draining the oil off of them, or draining the water off of them.
I want to put a little dog shed over them.
Well, see, do you guys have round clarifiers?
Yeah, we have 36 round ones and 100 and some rectangular ones.
We have squircles. We have square tanks with a circular collector arms.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Baltimore City has those. They're so weird looking.
Yes, they are. So yeah, you can see they're weird. But yeah, we call them squircles.
Easy to construct,
So
not the best for the next 50 years.
Yes. We're in the middle of a $3 billion consent decree, so we don't have money to upgrade them. So that's what the sample looks like. And that's oilography, which is another portion of TANGO. I kind of got out of it, but I can get in there real quick. And all our oil samples are done the way we do it is by plant. So one quarter it's Mill Creek, one quarter it's another, so that we can hit we're not bouncing around. Trying it out as to how it's going. So yeah.
So it looks like your particle count's up a little.
Yeah, on this one it is.
Group trending is if you want to compare several machines for a particular test or group test.
Oilography, TANGO, it's all great with the insight and the support.
So one last question. BG George was at Cincinnati, right? Was he a sponsor of this project in 2013?
Yes, he was a sponsor of our overall reliability program. Yes, he's familiar with everything. And this was only 1/3 of, we did planning and scheduling and reliability, RCM, RCAs, PM optimization, things like that.
Okay.
So,
all right. So he's at DC Water now. So just.
Bijou is 100% on board with it. He understands it.
Okay,
so,
wonderful. He's been supportive of all of our other reliability initiatives. So it's been good.
He's supportive of people trying to improve it, improving the process.
Okay. Yeah, I've had the same experience.
He was here for 20+ years. He started out here as an engineer.
Well, we're happy to have him. He's done a lot of good stuff. Yeah, we know how busy it can be at a plant, so we really appreciate your time to explain this to us.
If you have any other questions, I'm here. You can email me. I'm here 7 days a week. So,
yeah.
No problem. You guys have a great one.
All right. Thank you, Eric.
No problem.
All right. We'll be in touch.
All right, guys. We will talk to you a little later.